Yeah. All right. Well, good morning to you, sports fans. This is Hangover 123. If you have ever wondered how to pronounce that over on the friendly, happy live Roll Bama Roll forums, rather, we're the live stream. How are you? How about those games yesterday? I am here with Girly Man, who is currently practicing how not to be seen behind a no avatar. How are you,
Mr.
Girly?
Anonymous.
How you doing
Roll.
this morning, man?
Oh, roll tide. It was a good day.
Roll Tide, man. Absolutely. It was a fantastic day. Oh, goodness. Lots of
Alabama
stuff to
wins.
talk about.
2 sets of Tigers lose. What a day.
I know, I know. By the way, for those of you keeping up on trivia, I just wanted to let everybody know that there is Alabama has two more games left to play this season, and then it will have been a decade since Alabama lost to a team that does not have a tiger as a mascot. Just absorb that. Oh, we already got some comments this morning. Let's see. Das Kommandant Krieger. Who could that be? 7 minutes late, you bunch of drunk MFers. Well, you know, it's baked right into the handle there. TJ says, YouTube refunds are more than RBR refund. Yes, we have started a new cryptocurrency. It is Hangover Coins. And Hangover Coins trade at a 10 to 1 on RBR Forum Coins. So, yes, your refund should be coming to you through the blockchain. I would say any day now, Girly, would you say? Oh my goodness! So, what a great game yesterday! What an absolute blast it was to watch Bama go out. Now, I am a guy who I'll fret and worry over a game. I don't care who it is. I mean, you know, ooh, is this going to be the game where they just trip and fall? I will put aside all logic and chew on my fingernails and pace around the room. I swear, I wore a groove in the carpet in front of the TV there in the den. But yeah, I'm a guy who enjoys a blowout. So so looking at the game, I mean, I have to address the elephant in the room that is not Al. And Girly, you tell me if this happened for you. Yes, I was very, very happy that Tulane took OU down to the wire. I was very, very pissed off that ESPN took a top tier game being played by two ranked Power 5 teams and set it aside for the first half of the first quarter. So I missed the opening drive and the first touchdown that Bryce Young threw as a starter. Girly, did that happen to you, or were you able to get over to the to wherever ESPN had it?
I was able to actually tune in just as they were crossing midfield or so. So I got about 2 plays in before the touchdown.
Excellent.
Yeah, my thoughts on that were thanks Tulane for making me miss that without pulling out the W. I mean, if you're gonna do it, at least win the game, not go out there, get the onside kick, and then just blow it on offense. That was a disappointing offensive series. I'll put it that way. But
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, no
it,
kidding. I
it was
mean,
nice to see Oklahoma sweat a bit.
it was, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. I feel like Tulane absolutely got insanely ref balled but they had ample opportunity to right that wrong, and they failed. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll get to that on down the line. But anyway, rolling on. Yeah, total domination from the Tide. You know, I I knew, like, when Alabama got up 10 in the first, I was like, yeah, this is a fait accompli, Bill. Just take a deep breath, and everything's hunky dory.
Well, I'm a worrier like you. At one point on Friday, I thought, does Goodman know something I don't? Has he seen something? But no, Goodman's just being his typical self.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
you know what? I thought we had it in the bag. I think after the second Miami offensive series when we shut them down again, and I thought, okay, this defense, they've got something going. I think they're going to shut them down, and they did for most of the game, except for two or three plays, really.
Yeah, our defense is born again hard this season. And I got to tell you, I have noticed over the decade plus of Saban dominance that Bama has, once he got settled in, I would say from about 2009 forward. There was a seesaw effect. Good defense this year, keeping the offense's mistakes suppressed. Good offense this year, so good defense wasn't quite the key thing, and it just kind of seemed to rock back and forth. Last year, and if this game going forward is any indication, this year we may have found a way to, just like a perfect balance.
You know what? I'm not going to make any judgments like that after one game, but I will tell you this: this defense reminds me of the defenses of 2015 and 2016. The way, the physicality of the secondary, we haven't seen that in a couple of years. Last year, those the secondary had lots of trouble fighting through blocks to get to screens,
Mm.
and yesterday they had zero problem. I mean, they were blowing through blocks and killing those receivers. It was a thing to behold.
It truly was. It truly was. I would say the defense was a little more reminiscent of 2016 than 15.
I won't disagree with that.
But yeah, I am definitely hyped on this 2021 Alabama squad. Any concerns I had just melted away. We got a few comments on this. Let's see. First of all, good morning to our watchers, to our viewers. Jessica Brand, good to see you.
Hi guys.
And
Oh, I see a comment. TJ Byron Young is Frost, Jalen Hurts, and Squinty Surfer. You know what? The one of the things that I thought was he has that demeanor that Hurts has, and that is a scary thing because nothing will rattle him if that's the case.
yeah, yeah. Now look, I'm going to be brutally honest. There were times, 2016, 17, Natty, when I wish Jalen had been rattled a little bit more. When I wish that it seems like maybe a little bit more. I don't know, a little bit more concern for things. You know, there's a fine line between ice water in your veins and just being completely disinterested.
Yes.
You know, maybe complete a drive, Jalen. but otherwise, yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you there. Um, I will admit to watching the first quarter and watching Alabama's drives and thinking, "Ooh, is that more like Mac Jones or is that more like Tua or is that more like Jalen?" You know what? You know what the realization I came to by halftime was?
It was
Bryce
still
Young,
Byron Young. Yeah, Bryce Young.
Bryce
Oh,
Young is Bryce Young. He brings a style and a coolness that is strictly Bryce Young. Um, oh, Jessica, I'm gonna put that up.
Jessica.
You mean
We may have to
didn't
ban
enjoy
her for
did
that statement. That's just too painful to be
yeah
true. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
Jessica, no, please don't do that. That hurts.
um,
Oh, the old yeah. I mean, I love Jalen, but boy, I got tired of seeing roll right and throw it out of bounds.
yeah yeah. Or roll right, run for three.
Yeah,
You know.
and staring down a receiver that he's not open enough, and he's got two steps on a guy. Yeah, I see that he has improved on that. He improved on that actually his third year at Alabama when he was backing up Tua, and he also was a little better at it at Oklahoma. I We'll see how he does in the NFL with that. He's not going to last if he can't if he's going to think people aren't open enough. But we'll see. He's a smart kid and a great kid, and I think a lot of them. But yeah, there's some holes in that guy's game.
Yeah. And another one from TJ here. How I found awesome was Mathis. Yes, I was impressed by all the names that I didn't immediately recognize. Guys, just it was a true definition of not rebuilding but reloading last night. I mean, I thought. So let's run down some numbers. Unless you had anything to add to that, Gurley.
Well, Mathis, he created some problems up front. Yes, he did. I like to see those are kind of problems I like.
Yes, the good kind of problem.
The kind where where the opposing quarterback cannot stay in the pocket. Those are good problems to have.
Yeah. So looking at our numbers, and no, I'm not going to go over Miami's numbers. You can go to ESPN if you want to hear the tale of the tape on the Canes. Who, by the way, I just want to say this. If you have a loved one who's a Hurricanes fan, tell them they can get help. It doesn't have to be like this. But Hurricanes fans, I hope Miami sets the ACC on fire. I hope they run like a wild beast through that league and they get to the ACCCG and destroy their opponent there, which will probably be Clemson, because Clemson needs to be socked in the mouth, a topic we'll cover here shortly. So, looking at the numbers, Bryce was 27 of 38 for 344, 4 touchdowns, which, by the way, is a school record. He broke Mac Jones and Joe Namath's tied record for 3 TDs in a yes, roll Tide, Bryce Young. We had Paul Tyson step up and take a series, and I have to say, if you only read one set of numbers, Paul Tyson was the better quarterback. 1 for 1, 10 yards, 100% on his QBR. So,
And it was a zip of a. We'll give him that. Very good
yeah,
throw.
yeah. It really was. He's got a hell of a fastball. Rushing, B Rob, 12 carries, 60 yards. Let's see, Trey Sanders, 8 for 41 and a touchdown. Only one rushing TD. I want to see more ground game. Somebody get Saban on the live stream so I can berate him for not having more yards on the ground for TDs.
Let me say Sanders. He's the best thing to come out of Port St. Joe since fried shrimp.
Oh, Yeah. Let's see. Jace
I like
McClellan.
that kid. I really do.
Yeah. Sanders is going to be a star.
And
Jace
I
McClellan, 9 for 36. Roydell Williams. He didn't get a
uh,
lot of touches, but yeah, 6 for 18. Definition of 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And then
and he also gets he gets dinged for losing a fumble, but he gets credit for recovering it.
exactly right. And Nick lit into him over on the sideline after that fumble.
As well, he should.
As well, he should.
Running backs do not fumble at Alabama.
Yeah,
That's a way to get sent back down to the minors.
that is a way to spend the rest of the season with a nice, clean, tidy uniform. The only
Oh,
person on the sideline who'll appreciate you is the equipment manager.
and as deep as this backfield is, you don't want to do that.
No,
Opportunities are
no.
hard to come by right now.
I mean, I think that's one reason that Alabama is such a great competitor under Saban is because you're not only competing against Nick Saban's expectations, you're not only competing against the other team, you're competing against the guys on your own squad because he has 5 dudes waiting to earn their ring and then step into an NFL position in 2 to 4 years. So
Iron sharpens iron, as we say. You
exactly
compete
so,
against
sir.
you compete against a better athlete in practice than you do in a game. That's the way you want it.
Yes. Uh,
344 yards passing. That's a nice little number for a. I won't call him a rookie because he got some playing time last year, but his first start, that's a pretty good number.
them's good numbers. Them's very good numbers.
27 of 38, 4 touchdowns. That's yes. He had a pretty good debut.
I have no complaints. I have no complaints at all.
Uh, oh, Gurley Man raises his hand.
Go ahead.
We were commenting yesterday during the game, and by the way, I am not allowed to comment on game threads at Roll Bama Roll, because the last game thread I commented on was Ole Miss in 2015.
Oh,
So I cannot comment on game threads over there because it's we don't like what happens. But I was making some notes. We were talking back and forth yesterday.
okay.
One note I had is there were a couple of times on a stall drive where he ended up kicking the field goal where he specifically was looking downfield out of the pocket, running up to the line with no one in front of him, and he stopped to try to make a throw, and he threw a couple of those incomplete. And if he had just taken off and gotten 5, he would have had a first down. So it looks like they had coached him to, we don't want you running right now, so don't. And I think he took it to heart just a little too much. And I actually made a comment um, on our chat yesterday about that he probably should have taken off a couple more times than he did. And when he finally did, he got an easy first down, by the way.
Yeah, that. Now I just got done saying that Bryce Young is Bryce Young, and he's nobody's clone or bits and pieces of. That was distressingly too alike. My sole complaint about Tua Tagovailoa was that man would not give up on a play when it was time to give up on a play. And yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly in what you're saying there. Look, if the play's not developing, we can kid about, oh, he's got time to sit back there and do a 1,000-piece puzzle. You've got maybe 3 seconds before somebody's going to get to you. You gotta leg it. You gotta leg it just a little more often.
I will say this: that I will take that every time over taking off and running after making one read. Um, but
Yes, but if you've gone
it,
through your progressions and guys aren't open, they're probably not going to get open.
this is true, and you know what? In the grand scheme of things, this is a nitpick, and I admit this is a nitpick, but it's something he can clean up.
Yeah,
So, one criticism on the guy: great day. Nobody's perfect.
yeah, it's fine. One criticism, one game, a game that was a blowout. I mean, we Alabama fans are spoiled. It's like 44-13. Why couldn't it have been 64-13, Bryce? So yeah, we roll on. We have such a ridiculous and embarrassment of riches on receiving. It would probably take a half an hour just to run all the numbers, but I'll touch on these. Mechie was fantastic, but Jamison Williams,
That's a pleasant surprise.
yes. And I have to share the nerdiest joke. Everybody knows that I'm a big dork. I have my big nerd hobbies. Um, I made this punt every time they said this guy's name. 3 receptions for 43 yards, but 2 touchdowns by Cameron Latu. And every time the announcers said Latu, I said Gesundheit. I'm sorry. It's
That's oh,
that's
that's
a
a dad
terrible
joke, and that's terrible, and I'm totally using that.
it's a terrible joke, but it's also a fantastic joke. So, how about Slade Bolden getting some work? I was happy to see that. Slade went 3 for 26. And don't worry, folks, I'm not ignoring the Jamison Williams. We'll hop back to him. So many names. JoJo Earl. You had Javon Baker, 3 for 21. JoJo Earl, 2 for 25. Jace McClellan, 3 for 15. Trayshawn Holden. So many names that I don't know, and I just can't wait to see these guys become, you know, gold clad talent. Agi Hall had a catch for 10. And Brian Robinson Jr., uh, 2 receptions for no yards.
You know what that tells me? They were keying on him.
Yeah.
They had a guy on him no matter where he was going. So that just tells me that Miami was game planning for him.
Yeah, which is the beauty of Saban's depth on the bench. I mean, if you go back to the 2015 semi and Natty, everybody was keyed in on Derrick Henry, and OJ Howard had just been, quietly biding his time, and then him and Jake Coker got together and just abused Michigan. And OJ Howard, I tell my friends, is secret weapon Howard. He was one of
Against
the
Clemson, he had the cloak of invisibility or something because he's still open against Clemson.
Yes, he is still open against Clemson.
They still don't have anybody covering.
Yeah.
Oh my, that game, and I lived in South Carolina at the time, right in the middle of the Clemson people, and
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
thank you. That year was fun. The next year was less fun. But yeah, I would kid with them that their game plan was to cover everybody but OJ Howard in that game,
Yeah.
and they would just drop their head. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, we got ours the next season, but
We're
less said about
excited.
that, the better.
Offensive pass interference
Oh God.
match.
4 times in a row. Moving on. Defense looked solid. 4 sacks. 4 sacks.
That was a good, yes, that pass rush looked fearsome.
Our oh my god, our pass rush was legit. It was absolutely legit. By the way, if I'm missing anybody's comments, y'all are very chatty this morning, and that's a wonderful thing. So I apologize if we don't if we don't get everything. Let's see. We had 2 ints, which was nice. 2 ints for 12 yards. Malachi Moore minus 1 yard on his, and Jalen Moody picked up 13 on an int.
Yeah. There's not much to complain about, not much to nitpick about for the defense. They seem to lose a little bit of intensity late in the second quarter and early in the third, and they've got to clean up those phantom pass interferences. I mean, you've got to not touch that guy even more than you did, because they're going to call it if you not touch him kind of close. So I guess they have to work on not touching him even more, so they don't get called on those pass interference penalties.
You know what? And again, we're going to go around the country with stuff we find interesting, so this will come up again. But look, the refs are going to ref ball. I know the refs are going to ref ball. The audience knows that the refs are going to ref ball. Tulane got did dirty, and Alabama got did dirty. I mean, when a wide receiver is facing the ball and is T-posing to establish dominance over the receiver, and the receiver practically has the defender by the lapels. For our friends in the NCAA officiating booths, that's not defensive pass interference. That's offensive pass interference. It's a subtle but important distinction between the two. And Tulane got hosed and Alabama got hosed by that.
But Alabama gets all the calls.
Oh, yes, right. I'm sorry. I forgot the standard disclaimer that that all college football officiating is slanted towards Alabama, and they never get screwed by bad calls. So, we had a question from, there's Mr. Blair hiding out in the chat. Any news on Allen? This is what I've got. This is from Reuters here. Alabama linebacker Christopher Allen suffered a serious foot injury that could force him to miss the rest of the season. The injury occurred early in the second quarter. Allen sacked Miami quarterback Derek King for a loss of 3 yards. He forced a fumble on the play, which he recovered. He appeared to suffer a foot injury. He was attended to by trainers and had to be carted off the field to the locker room for further eval. He did not return. Chris Allen's got a pretty significant foot injury, and they'll further evaluate, Saban told reporters after the game. But it looks like he may be lost for the season. So, yeah.
I hate to hear that, but he was a playmaker.
Yeah.
He is a playmaker.
Well, we gotta hope for we just gotta hope for the best. I mean, still don't know what the significant foot injury is, and I mean they didn't say it was lower extremity, so it's not a knee, it's not a leg break, it's a foot injury. So I guess
I didn't know if this was something that could be corrected with a tightrope surgery and he'd be back in 3 weeks, or if he was going to need body parts from a cadaver. Nobody's really saying much right now. We'll find out in the next few days, I suppose.
Yeah. A long bone break in the foot. Yeah, that's... Oof, I can't even imagine. But hey, let's talk about happy stuff. Slade Bolden did okay on punt returns. Again, it's nice to see Slade getting more reps. I thought he was a little underutilized last year, but and hey, the man with a golden leg, Will Reichard, balled out once again. 51-yard field goal. You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Alabama with a kicker. That
I
makes
know.
the rest of the college football world shudder.
I know. I know. Um, our James Burnip, our punter. That's the he's an Aussie, right?
That's the guy, right? I think so. Yes.
Yeah. Uh, Meh. I mean, all plays matter. All plays matter. I shouldn't be cavalier about it. You know this. I am inviting a smack in the back of the head from chaos itself by saying meh. But you know, two punts, long 36. I don't want it to have to be a thing, but honestly, he's gonna have to step up and really boom a punt every now and again.
The great thing about this is we didn't see enough punts to really get a feel for the guy.
Exactly, exactly. You know, I'm like I can't really make an informed judgment here because what did he do? When did we ever have drives that didn't develop? Twice, exactly twice, as
I
is the
think
tail of it.
was it one late, the first one late in the second quarter, after we had scored the first five possessions or something like that.
I think so. Yeah. Then one like in the fourth, was it?
So basically, his only action was garbage time. Up
Yeah.
27 late in the second quarter. I consider that garbage time.
Yeah.
So
Let me see.
hopefully he'll step up when it matters. Here's a number I like. Miami 31 carries, 88 yards. We held
Oh,
them to 88 yards rushing,
you,
31
you,
carries.
you hate to see it.
Yes. Oh, and the whole mobile quarterbacks give Alabama defenses a hard time. 9 carries for 10 yards for Mr. King. Yeah, he did not. He did not cause us problems, Mr. Mobile Quarterback. He
Yeah.
was well contained the entire game, and he got
Yes.
chased out of the pocket a lot.
And now I want to mention one thing going forward. I'm going to get on my soapbox here. Just a little bit of a polemic from me. I have seen people like fellow Alabama fans, and I'm not judging anybody on this because I know being a fan, like you know, it's easy to get carried away. I don't care if we're playing like you know the 1951 Moscow Stalins. I don't want to see guys get hurt, regardless of the team they're on. I grimaced every time Derek King went down, which was actually kind of frequent. And when he got up hobbling on that leg, I was like, "Young man, please, just go take a couple of Motrin and post on Insta for the rest of the game or something." Not because I wanted to see him off the field, but a knee surgery is just not something to screw around with when you're coming back as a QB.
And no, and he's only what 8 months removed from that injury.
Yeah,
And yeah, I I would say there was one play where he got tackled that made me cringe a bit because of that. And I was just glad to see him get up because
yeah.
yeah, he's our opponent. I wanted to see him get hit and hit hard, but I didn't want to see him get hurt like that.
No, I never, ever, ever, ever like to see an injury. It's like there was a case. It's been a number of years ago. I don't even remember who Alabama was playing, but a fellow just got leveled. And when they went to you know, when they went to line up, he literally lined up on Alabama's scrimmage line. And I remember seeing comments on videos like game replay videos and stuff of people laughing about it, saying, "Oh, you got it's a the dude has a mild traumatic brain injury right there. You're watching some. I mean,
That
it's
was Wisconsin 2015 opening game. Yeah,
thank
I
you.
can't remember the kid.
I knew it was 2015, but I could not remember the game, and I'm like, you know,
And the most this is the most Alabama thing ever. That happened because he tackled Derrick Henry.
yeah,
But yeah, I remember, and that it was a little funny, a little mildly humorous because I've been hit that hard. But yeah, then you think about it. No, that get that kid over there, take care of him.
yeah. Sit him down, shine a light in his eyes, get him some Gatorade, you know. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
I don't watch any sport in the anticipation that anybody will be hurt. So seeing Derek King bounce back up and continue to play after he took the hit and was a little stung was good. So Derek, you know, good on you, man.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Jessica says Joel Stave. Was that the guy?
Was it Stave? Well,
That
you
sounds
know,
like.
I'm not even going to ask that because Jessica uh, has been right on every time.
I think
So
we should invite Jessica to come on here and break down some of Alabama's defensive coverages because I think she knows a little bit about football here.
I
I've
think
seen
we
a
should
couple
invite
of
Jessica
smart
on to be the
comments.
show anchor, and I should just give her the password for StreamYard.
Okay, Jessica, next week you're going to break down cover two for us, okay?
Yes, we're gonna have Jessica on here as our X's and O's person. Um, yeah, but anyway, so yeah, the numbers don't lie. The numbers do not lie. Alabama went out and they completely nullified the Hurricanes on the ground, in the air. Manny Diaz did not have any answers for Alabama.
Alabama, they were just overmatched. There was I didn't see any part of the game where they outplayed Alabama. They were dominated physically on the line of scrimmage. I mean, they have a good secondary. Let me point that out, but they got torched. This was just a dominant performance by Alabama. And that's really all you can say. Alabama dominated again. Yawn.
Yeah, yeah. But and again, as I said at the beginning of the live stream, I am not one of those people who's like, "Oh, it's another Alabama win. I'll post on Facebook. I'll tweet. Whatever." Yawn. I don't care. I love blowouts. I absolutely love blowouts.
You can drink more in the second half.
I can drink more in the second half. Exactly. Yeah, I learned in 2016 and 17 to save the celebratory libations for exactly that, celebrations. don't don't start drinking them early, you know.
Yeah, but that ends up becoming angry drinking, and that's never good.
Yep.
Uh, I have to share this story. My brother, big Alabama fan, he married his second wife was a Tennessee woman, and they lived in very very southern Tennessee, as in you can hit the state line. But third Saturday in October was a very tense day at their house, and I will never forget um, the game where we put the deuce at quarterback and we came back and tied the game and extended the non-losing streak to them. He actually left. We were getting just physically beat in the first half, and he left. He went out and went to work out in the yard at halftime and never came back in. And I went outside a couple times. How are we doing? We doing better? And he was drinking. Yeah, he would he was pounding the Bud Lights and
Oh,
and working and trying to not watch the game, but he couldn't, so I'd have to go out and give him updates.
oh,
Then he went back in and with his chest puffed out after we tied it. That was a. I'm glad I don't watch those games with Tennessee people anymore. Those got tense.
Yeah, no, I get you. KB says based on week one, they shouldn't even have a team ranked two. Just leave it blank. I would say you could do that probably for 2, 3, 4, and 5. Honestly,
Yeah, that's about right.
because
Maybe somebody
Alabama's
at
one
five,
and
but
start at 6, and just the NCAA should just or not the pollsters and everybody should just tell the rest of the teams, look, when somebody can act like they have played at 1A FBS level, then we'll start giving you guys slots behind Alabama. But as it stands right now, it is number 1 and number 6. And no, that does not mean number 6 is number 2.
so let me ask you this question then: should they even be allowed to rank an ACC team?
No, I did not see any play from the ACC that merits a numerical ranking that matters.
That the ACC had a very, very bad showing this weekend. Very bad.
The ACC's no good, horrible, terrible, and completely bad weekend. A story in 2 parts, in multiple parts rather. So let's talk a little bit. Let's kind of go around the league and look a little bit. The showcase game, the game that was going to get all the eyeballs on it. The centerpiece game.
I'm sorry.
The Clash of Titans. Alabama's going to slap Miami around. There's no doubt about that.
Georgia.
But the big bad game. What's going, the Clemson and Georgia meeting.
Duke's Mayo Classic.
And I have said it over and over. I pasted this meme in so many chats that I got a callus on my mouse clicking finger from doing it. It is like the episode of The Simpsons where they go to the soccer game and they're like halfback passes to center to halfback, holds it until Georgia came out in the second half and ate Clemson's lunch. All of it. Just bullied them. Okay, great value Lane Kiffin with a bowl cut. I tip my Bear Bryant Trilby to you because you sir did a man's job. Not, mind you, that I saw too much from Georgia. Like, I am now officially not worried at all about Clemson and Georgia this season. Either one of those teams, Alabama would have demolished them.
They have pretty good defenses. They're not better than Alabama's, but those offenses, woof. DJ Uiagalelei, if I'm correctly, after the way he played against Notre Dame last year, I was a little worried about that guy. But after watching him against Georgia, no, Clemson people were already calling for him to be benched by the end of the third quarter last night. They are not pleased with the way he performed last night at all.
Yeah. And it was pathetic. I mean, it was like a middle school football game for 2.5 quarters.
It was, yeah. The stat that stands out to me: Clemson rushing 23 carries for 2 yards. 2 yards rushing. That's
we're speechless. We're dumbstruck, folks. I mean, dumber than usual for me. But this is I think the Braves and the Rockies scored more points than this. This is this is just absolutely awful football play. I mean, I
I'm
don't.
going to talk about this game the way the rest of the country talked about that Alabama LSU regular season game back in 2011. Those offenses were awful.
Yeah,
Awful.
yeah. I mean,
Georgia ran 31 times and for 121 yards. That's, I mean, that's still not good against that, especially when you're throwing 30 times for 135 yards. That tells me that you just couldn't get anything going.
I mean, Clemson's total yardage was 180. And 178 of that was in the air because, as you point out, 23 carries, 2 yards. I mean, when your yards per rush is point 0.1, point 0.1 yards per rush. So this is for our buddy Bluto. Bluto, Clemson ran per rush a shorter distance than your newborn child is tall. Let that sink in.
Another way of putting it, Gurley Man could run that far. If Gurley Man can run that far, that's not far.
Yeah.
Because Gurley Man is old and fat.
Likewise, yeah. You're not talking to Bronk McJockstrap over here or anything like that. And I will
Okay,
also
I have a new porn name. I'm sorry. I have a
Bronk
new porn
McJockstrap. Yes.
name.
I may have to petition the SB Nation guys to get a screen name change. But
Do not
anyway,
be surprised if that guy shows up in the podcast.
but but yeah, this is Commandant says Kirby looks like a fat kid due for a swirly December 4th. Happy St. Nick Day, you effing traitor. Damn right. Clemson's FBS record of scoring in the first half got snapped. What a shame. Oh my gosh, yeah. You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Oh,
So
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Jessica has another insight up here.
Yes.
The bubble screens last night from Bo. You think I was back 15 years ago? Yeah, you know what? I have to say, I lived in South Carolina for almost 20 years, right in the midst of the Clemson country. And yeah, they complained. Even 15 years ago, they complained about bubble screens. So yeah, that's
It
nice insight.
it was high school level football.
Yeah, it it set college football back about 15 years. It did.
Yeah.
I was expecting some power eye to come out of there on 1st and 10.
I mean, I remember you know, just a couple of years ago, when streaming services got they got high on the ACC, and they started an ACC network and so on. So for those of you who might have shelled out the extra $5 to Sling to get the ACC network, how's that purchase working out for you? How is that purchase working out for you? Because and let's
I have ACC. I have ACC network. I'm not
oh
paying extra
don't
for it. I'm
sorry.
not paying extra for it. It came as a bundle.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I'm just pointing out the value. We'll call it the value curve. The value curve is trending down.
I understand. When you start looking at things to save bandwidth on and clean up clutter on your streaming service, is the ACC going to be on the chopping block?
Yeah, it it's right. So I have YouTube TV, and it is in the menu. It's directly below the SEC network, and I notice, and of course the SEC network is guilty of this too. But if it's say a Clemson Georgia game or a Clemson Auburn game, check the it'll always be one of those where Clemson managed to win the game. It's they will not put the Clemson Alabama game from 2000 network. It just won't happen.
Huh.
And by the way, I also have the Big Ten network. They do the same thing. But I will say this: the Big Ten network is much farther down the menu than the ACC network. It's even below the Fox Sports networks.
Well, I try to do better at this, and I'm going to have to do better at this. But like my taste in football watching is not quite as good as my dad's. And I've told this story before, and we're gonna talk about fear not, folks. We're gonna get on to the LSU game here in just a second. But my old man was a man who loved football, and he engendered that love in me. In that, you know, if I got press ganged into going and working with my dad on a Saturday, and it was college football season, to hang drywall or just do whatever, on the way home we invariably stop somewhere for dinner. And if it was a place that had like a TV over the bar, or what have you, we might be sitting there at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night watching Oregon play Hawaii, and while away an hour after we were done eating, watching Oregon play Hawaii. Why? Because it's football. And some football is better than no football most of the time.
I have been that way most of my adult life, and well, I have a 4-year old now, and so and I also go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, which 21-year-old me is just shocked and appalled at that, but it happens. So I have cut back a little bit, but man, I used to love football after Pac-12 after dark, just to relax with a beer in my hand and watch two mediocre teams play. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
yeah.
It's
Uh,
football.
it is football. Some football isn't better than no football, unless the football is being played by LSU.
Wah, wah, wah.
Never,
That game
ever
was.
have I enjoyed such absolute Schadenfreude as I did watching that pathetic showing by those beignet gobbling, English language mangling mudsuckers from Louisiana
They got
getting caved in last night.
they they were dominated on the line of scrimmage, and you're not going to win a game if you get beat up front the way they got beat up front. It, that was embarrassing.
Yeah.
And my question is the Coach O going to last that game, because they were clearly not ready to play.
Um, I don't know. I think, to be honest, I mean, stepping outside and looking in, um, let's look at 2015 Ole Miss versus Alabama. Would you imagine that would you be saying, "Oh, Nick Saban's on the hot seat now"? No, but then Nick Saban didn't come off of 2013 and lose 4 games the following season, and only win in squeakers. Uh, And oh, I just want to say this in my own voice because I've typed it out a lot of times. What's your favorite college rivalry? Mine is Ed Orgeron versus the English language.
Okay. Okay. That's
Now, I do want to say this, folks. We do get some paperwork in front of us here in the unofficial live stream, but the LSU told us in an email that they have NFL prospects, and quite frankly, we can't verify that.
oh. Oh.
Sorry,
That 15 yards unnecessary roughness.
late hit, way out of bounds.
Way out of bounds.
I'll gladly take that.
I will say this, and I lived in Pittsburgh for about a year and a half, and I kind of became a fan of the Steelers. They had a color man. He's sort of famous. His name was Myron Cope.
I
He was
know
a
the name.
little cartoon man with a big cartoon voice. I would pay cash money, and I would pay quite a bit of money to hear a conversation between Myron Cope and Ed Orgeron.
But that's
That
just it.
would be
You
a
couldn't hear a
conversation that you would
conversation
never
between.
forget or ever understand.
Yeah. The real victim here would be human communication, don't you think?
Oh, absolute ears, ears. I'd say that conversation would cause nerve damage.
Yeah. Now, one thing I'm going to say, okay, so 27-38. If you're on the outside of college football looking at, you might say, well, 27-38, that's perfectly cromulent score. Folks, it was nowhere near an 11-point close game. It truly was not. LSU, when
What is that
when
smell?
Dorian Thompson Robinson threw that 45-yarder there, I think it was in the fourth quarter, you could absolutely tell LSU had long ago given up on that football game. Do you hate to see it, and I mean that sincerely, but they clearly had given up on doing anything in that game.
It's bad when UCLA makes that ass quit.
Yeah, UCLA, let that soak in, fans.
UCLA made their ass quit.
UCLA made their asses quit.
I have proof. If you don't believe me, UCLA rushing 47 carries, 210 yards. LSU 25 carries, 49 yards. They made their ass quit. That's not a good look for LSU. Edo, he may not make it this year.
I have said, and I think this is a perfect opportunity to get on the pulpit again and talk about this. LSU, their football program, is soul sick. What is plaguing LSU right now is bigger than just bad plays. I don't really want this to be that kind of show unless you guys in the audience want to hear this, but you know, there's some Title IX things going on at LSU that are going to start, I think, bubbling to the surface in the next 1 to 2 years. Faster if Ed Orgeron can't turn this around, just because the regents will say, you know, go send an anonymous email to, you know, the AP or to ESPN. I think there's something eating away at the whole program at LSU. Yes, they absolutely. I won't take a thing away from them for their romp through the the college football season in 2019. But the tail of the tape is right there, guys. And I mean, you know, 49 rushing yards total. And yeah, it's a passing game now. 49 rushing yards total. Um, a less than 50% completion attempt ratio for their quarterback. I just their top rusher, Davis Price. Sorry, I'll get it right soon, guys. 13 carries, 31 yards. That's not smash mouth football, folks. That's not a team.
Getting your mouth smashed, possibly.
Yeah, trying to say that guy's name. Um, that's that's a team in trouble. That's a team with a leadership and coaching problem that goes beyond Ed Orgeron, and it goes beyond. Um, it goes beyond just, hey, we need a better playbook. We need better looks. I honestly and truly feel like uh, there's something going on at LSU, and I think it's going to rear its ugly head soon. Um,
Would you send your kid to go play there?
Absolutely not. I wouldn't send my kid to the school, and I
Yeah.
don't just mean that from a homer standpoint. If my daughter, who's uh, looking to go to college next fall, came to me and said, "Well, Dad, I have three scholarship opportunities. You know, here, and the third one is LSU." I'd say, let's just take that one and throw that one in the trash. Let's just ignore that. You're not going to LSU.
I-
Um, Based on a lot of things that has nothing to do with with their football program, but that is impacting their football program. So I'll step off the bully pulpit about my philosophical issues with LSU now. The game, to go back to the game, to have something to laugh at again. You know,
let's give something to laugh at. Charbonnet, UCLA's running back, 11 carries, 117 yards. 10 yards a carry. That's pretty funny.
that's hilarious. Actually, um, I need to get my numbers in front of me here.
There was one play early in the fourth quarter, and I must admit that by that time I wasn't dozing off, but I was not paying close attention. But UCLA had the ball, and they were just running it down their throats. And they came back and did a replay, and they broke it down, and they came back and showed UCLA. They changed their formation. They went to a unbalanced line, and they pointed out LSU never adjusted. LSU lined up and didn't adjust it, and they got gashed on it. It was something like a 30-yard run because
yeah, it's I've got the paper sitting up in front of me, but on screen is the ticker from the game, and it's running clips, and I just saw the play you're talking about in a highlight. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, you learn to adjust to that in middle school. You
yeah,
do. I mean, definitely by high school. If you don't know how to line up against that in college, you've got a problem.
yeah, it's no doubt. Hey, this wasn't just LSU falling on its face. Let's be right up front here. UCLA played a complete balanced game. That was a wholesome football game played by UCLA.
Holes.
Like that was a football game that seemed to draw from every era of good, solid football, and I have nothing but compliments for UCLA on that gameplay. What do you think? You think UCLA sneaks into the top 25 after that?
Probably, yeah. I mean, they beat an SEC team that won a national championship 2 years ago, so They have to get some points for that. I mean, because LSU is still sort of seen as a good team for now.
Yeah. I mean, and let's be honest, folks. That was not a quality loss for LSU.
Oh, that was embarrassing.
That was a humiliation. Um, so I don't think you can make a case for leaving UCLA out of the top 25. Are they legit? Probably not. But
It's always too early to tell.
yeah, yeah,
And you know that kind of brings me back to another game. Football didn't just start on Saturday. We had a game on Thursday. We had who was it? It was North Carolina and Virginia Tech. The highly ranked North Carolina team. We expected great things from them. Oh no, look out! Just got beat by Virginia Tech.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, VT is one of those teams that can just come out of the, just like step out of a dark alley and mug you, and they always have been. It's the weirdest thing. Am I wrong? I mean,
I know they. I mean, they tend to these days they fly under the radar. They have the capability, especially at home, of jumping on somebody. But I will say this: North Carolina did not look like a ranked team at all. They did not look
not a
like it at
number
all.
10 ranked team. Good God, no.
Nah, they didn't look like a 25 ranked team either. Oh, maybe
Um,
they may be top 10 in the ACC. They'll probably finish top 10 there. But are they Clemson's best competition on the season? If so, Clemson is going to romp and have a
yeah,
cakewalk through their season.
I mean, on paper, the game was a snore fest, but for the Hokies to come in and kick number 10 in the butt. Um, IR says LSU 2020. Oh no, we suck again.
But we'll always have 2019.
They'll always have 2019. And that's all you ever have. Um,
They mortgaged their future for that championship. They did.
yeah, I'm picturing you know, a cartoon devil with hooves and everything leaning over Ed Orgeron's desk saying, that's right, Mr. Orgeron. Just sign right here. That's right. There you have it. One national championship this year, just as you requested. So,
That that seems like it probably did happen. That's the scary part.
yeah. Lot, in all fairness, Clemson did. Yeah, IR mentions there. In all fairness, Clemson didn't look like a top 10 team either. I'm losing my windows. I've got so many data windows open here. Um,
Tabs, my friend, tabs.
tabs, yeah. Well, I have like two 27-inch monitors, and yet I still don't know how to manage this real estate. It's awful. Um, well, I mean, one of them is dedicated to memes, so it's
Yeah,
like
okay, you have a meme monitor. Okay,
I have a
I
meme.
do not have a
I have a
dedicated meme
primary
monitor.
display and a meme display.
Okay,
Um,
that's I'll have to look into that. I gave up on I had 224s
mhm.
and I gave up on that because at the end of the day my eyes were hurting every day. So I went and bought a 40-inch TV and that's my monitor. So I can go pure old man gigantic font if I want, or
Nice.
I can have the multiple windows open.
When the
So
fonts on the screens are the size of your hand, you're doing it right.
uh, and sometimes it's necessary. I'm sorry, I'm old.
Yeah, I had LASIK back in 2011, and I can pick out details on the surface of the moon at night. But anything closer than that, and I gotta have like the Nerdermeyer glasses on again. I gotta have readers for that. Um, so yeah, sitting here gaming, it's like you know, I read reviews of video games and guys talking about like frame rates at 1080p and 4K, and I'm like, how can you see it that small? I'm running it in 800 by 600 over here, and it looks just fine because everything has anti-aliasing when your eyes are blurry at 2 feet.
Yeah.
So,
Jessica
to,
coming in with another insight. She needs to be running this thing.
I
Who else
know,
looked like a top 10 besides us? King wasn't great for A&M against Little Kent State.
yeah.
Who else should be in the top 10? I I guess
So,
Georgia is probably a top 10 team.
so
I mean, their
TJ,
defense looked really good. Their offense still is fairly anemic.
I'm gonna steal TJ's comment here. Jessica, you're right on. I think you're spot on. But TJ says new rankings: number one, Bama's defense; number two, Bama's offense; number three, Bama's special teams; number four, and I know this goes in special teams, but Will Reichert should be ranked number four in the country
By himself,
by
yes.
himself.
Because he outscored Clemson
Yeah, Will
and
Reichert alone
and
would have beaten
Georgia.
Clemson. Let that sink in, guys.
Yeah, honestly, he also outscored Georgia.
And he yeah. Um, so number four on the PGA Tour, absolutely. Uh, just he doesn't use a driver or a sand wedge or anything. He just kicks the ball off the tee. Uh, but yeah, honestly, I feel like the principle of college football should just, it's like, Alabama, you can leave the classroom. Have a nice day. And then Alabama uses the door shut and starts to walk down the hall and just catches. Now the rest of you.
That yeah, I have a hard time telling you, but you know what? I have always said that what preseason rankings never mean anything. I don't even pay attention to preseason rankings, and we've had this argument before. Why even bother before at least 5 games into the season? Because you don't know. This is Alabama had a great win, but it's a single data point.
It
I mean,
is.
maybe Miami is just really, really, really horrible this year. I doubt they're that bad, but you know, are they going? Is Alabama going to improve on their performance? Are they going to clean the things up they need to clean up? It, this is not a 1 week season, guys. It's a good start.
Yeah, it is a fine start. Unfortunately the standings won't be out, or the rankings rather, not the standings, till later this afternoon slash evening. But honestly, I mean,
Actually, I think they'll be out on Monday or Tuesday this week because there are extra games being played.
okay, all right, yeah, I'm falling back to mid season brain there.
Yeah,
But
I can't tell you who's going to challenge Alabama this year based on what we saw in week 1. I can't tell you.
um,
I don't see it. Not right now.
so right now, if I had to pick, oh, and I want your hot take on this, you and the audience. This was Feinbaum. He said Bryce Young was the Heisman front runner. Now, look, we can talk about that ball-headed old man on a whole separate special edition of the show if we wanted to waste the bandwidth, but that's a bold claim right there. I mean, and I say that as a Tide fan, and I say that as someone who would love to see it. But I think it goes back to what you just said. It's way too early for that. Way too early for that.
we have to have something to fill the time. I mean, we have to have hot takes to talk. You want me to give you a hot take?
Give me
He
a
is the
hot
front
take. Give me
runner.
a hot take. I want to hear it.
He's the front runner right now. I mean, who did you see yesterday that played better than him? That had more of an impact on his team? He's the most outstanding player yesterday. I will say that. Um, Other hot takes. Georgia's defense is very good. Their offense does not scare me in the least. Clemson, no, no. Even if they get through the ACC unbeaten and make it into the playoffs somehow, they're out in the first round. Miami, no. Clemson will beat them in the championship game. Other hot takes. Notre Dame, Florida State. Notre Dame will win that game. Notre Dame will not make the playoffs this year. They're not going to be as good as last year, and they weren't that great last year. North Carolina, no, just no,
Mm-mm.
no. Ohio State. Oh, that was kind of yeah.
In the words of the immortal Neil Young, forget it, Ohio.
Forget it, Ohio.
Yes.
They did not make Minnesota's ass quit.
No, they did not.
I'm gonna. My hot take is Ohio State is not making it out of the Big Ten to the playoffs this year. That is my hot take. They're not making the playoffs.
Right now, I'm going to agree with you. I mean, obviously, we're doing week one hot takes, and these takes are spicy because I mean, any takes after week one are hot takes. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. So next week we have Mercer. That's a fait accompli, guys. Just cook some burgers, pop some popcorn, put Mercer on, put Mercer on in the SECN window on your PC and watch the tickers go for other games or stream them. I'm not saying don't watch Alabama. I'm just saying you know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. This is basically a way for Mercer to make $900,000 and appear on national TV.
And Alabama can clean up some of their stuff and have a good scrimmage.
And Alabama can clean it. Yeah, let's just, hey guys from Mercer, let's have a good clean game. Let's have some fun. You know, let's see. The Gators on the 18th. Now, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think Alabama's going to win. The FPI is saying, I apologize because to you guys who see what I post on the RBR forums, I give way too much credence to the FPI, but it's a nice metric to have, and there's some truth behind it. But what do you think about the Gators game? What's your hot take on the Gators right now? Predict the Gators game.
The Gators game is going to be a nice early season test. They're losing a lot of offense, and it remains to be seen whether their defense has improved. And their defense definitely needs to improve over last year. So I'm going to predict Alabama by 3 scores, probably 17, because I think Alabama. It'll be a competitive game in the first half. Alabama will definitely pull away in the second.
I am going to concur on the 3 scores. I'm going to say it's going to be 3 TDs. Bryce Young's going to eat, possibly even 4. But I think number 4 will be probably so garbage time that Nick won't be happy about it. Like, hey, that's that's not our ball game. Save that for Auburn, kind of thing. Let's see. Uh, Southern Miss is another snoozer. Whatever. Ole Miss. I think the Ole Miss game's going to be better than people think. I think Ole Miss is going to go.
I'm still twitchy from last year's game.
Same. I think Ole Miss is the hidden danger. They are the rattlesnake in the uncut front yard of football. But I think that's probably as far down as we want to look this week anyway. And I'm looking forward to things solidifying. Jessica's saying 45-20. I feel like that's probably pretty close. Maybe Kiffin from KB says maybe Kiffin. I agree with that. And I think we've got the defense to contain Corral also, William. So I think that's where we're going to leave it this week. No, TJ, I completely forgot that. I totally forgot Matt Luke was on his staff. So,
oh yeah, offensive line coach, if I recall.
Yeah, that's right. So, any closing thoughts, sir?
I had a good weekend. I got to watch Alabama destroy some poor fools. I got to see 2 sets of Tigers lose. I watched some good football. I watched some bad football. I got to watch football. That's the good news.
Absolutely. Well, after struggling in a close game, it's evident now that Alabama may have a shot at it. That's my hot take this week. Don't bet the farm on it. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for coming by and making our first live stream. Just a whole lot of fun. We'll be back with more people next Sunday morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. So we'll be your morning cup of coffee, wake up. Games we all want to watch next week. Yes, Alabama Mercer. I know I just said stream it in a window and kind of only half pay attention to it, but I want to see it. And Gurley, I understand if you got a blaze, I can wrap things up here. If you need to step out. But my must-watch games next week. My must-watch games next week. Come on now.
Oregon, Ohio State.
Let's see. Yeah, definitely. Hey, tonight, Notre Dame, Florida State.
Yep.
Who do you got before you go? You got to tell me, who do you got?
I do not have. Florida State's not back, not yet. So Notre Dame, it won't be that close. I'm thinking 35. No, this is Notre Dame, so not 35. 28-13. But it'll feel like it's worse.
Concur. I'm not sure on the score, but I agree with you. All right. Well, then I think we are really going to wrap on that. Remember, guys, roll tide. We'll see you next Sunday morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. And yeah, thanks for stopping by. You guys have an absolutely excellent week. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you then. Peace.
See you later,
everybody.
guys. Roll
Peace.
Tide.
Roll Tide.